Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from, and real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, the loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, I'm sorry, I know it's been a little bit, guys, I apologize, but I've been having a birthday weekend celebrating with my family and stuff. My birthday is tomorrow, February 23rd, so we did a little bit of celebration over the weekend. Got a special pulling video for you guys tomorrow to celebrate my birthday, so look forward to that. But that being said, we are in the middle of solo raid, finished up co-op, so we gotta talk about Takina a little bit, and kind of a mixed bag. She's a great buffer, but honestly, there's only so many places that we can really utilize her. So let's break her down, and as always with these type of videos, I like to talk about 3 categories. You know, the income, timing, the type of account you have. I like to talk about the waifu aspect, which is always subjective, but I love to talk about it. And lastly, we talk about, you know, investing, equipment, the actual skills, and then talk about testing. So let's get started. Now, timing wise and where we're at, pretty much this is a limited collab. So in my opinion, I feel like everybody should at least be picking up 1 copy just for the sake of just keeping your Pokedex filled. If you don't care about that, then by all means, you know, you can just ignore it. And in terms of who's the better character to go for, Chisato is the character that's the surprising one of the bunch. Takina is kind of rough because she's a buffer, she's great, she needs some investment, but there's only so many units that will really help her. Obviously, Chisato is a great pairing, but outside of that, it's sort of a question mark. True damage in this game has been kind of a weird thing where they're trying to make it work, but there's only so many units that can really utilize that, and honestly, not everybody's interested in it, especially if you don't care about solo raid. It's kind of a hard, like, pass for most people, especially if you're casual and you don't care about the collab. So depending on what type of account you have, if you care about solo raid, I definitely think that she's going to be used to an extent, especially at least in this raid. We'll see how it goes. I know we're in the middle of solo raid. I haven't done my runs yet. Like I said, I was doing my birthday weekend stuff, so I got to get on top of that. Outside of that little bit of yapping, when we're talking about the waifu aspect, me personally, I've never watched the anime. I mean, I've enjoyed a good bit of this, like, collab. Like, surprisingly, if I had a bit of, like, a good time with it in terms of the story, what they were, like, showing off and stuff. Like, I think they did a nice job with it, personally. But, I mean, looks-wise, she's cute. I definitely prefer Chisato, though. Chisato's definitely the character I prefer. She is cute, though, and I like her little drinking her little sippy. Is cute, and then chewing it. That's adorable. And, obviously, the shooting pose is just kind of non-existent. Now, she does get a shotgun if you burst with her. We'll talk about that later. A cute little SD model, and obviously the skins, which to most people, they don't really care. If you like skin, you know, this is probably going to be the one to go for. I personally don't care for this one. The reason why is because for me, like, skin is one thing, right? Like, this looks good, but like, it's also the free one. It's kind of whatever to me. I don't think it's that great looking. It just looks kind of basic to me. I think this one is really cute because if you're not going to offer that much fan service, at least make it cute, and I think they did a phenomenal job with it for both Chisato and Takina. So I'm going to pick these up, and regardless, I was just for the event pulls like I mentioned with Chisato's video, and I think the SD model looks really cute, little guitar and stuff, so kind of adorable. I do appreciate that. But outside of yapping about her, how's the investment? So for me personally, I just went with an SR level 5 doll. I have just a single copy, so bond level 10. Now, do you need to worry about OL? To an extent. If you want her to be a sub DPS, then yes, go for elemental, attack. Me personally, I actually didn't get that many great lines, and she's still kind of decent. Like, I got this line with, you know, max ammo, charge damage, crit rate, which is like whatever. Some attack, but charge speed, critical damage, which is like, okay. Max ammo, elemental, then max ammo, elemental hit rate. So, pretty iffy lines, but some attack, some elemental there, a little bit of max ammo. But I feel like if you really want to prioritize, then you can focus on the lines. If you want her to be an off burst, though, you really don't need to worry about the lines. You can just OL her and just go from there. But when we're talking about her skills, there are 2 ways we can go about this, just like her OL gear. you can either go all in on it and try to make her a good sub DPS, or you don't have to care about the lines. And this, you can either go pretty good investment, or you can be kind of chill. So you can go 4-7-4. In my opinion, I feel like that's fine if you don't really care about anything else. If you really want her to be like a great sub DPS and a great off burst, you can honestly go with skill 1 at 7, skill 2 at 10, burst skill at 7. That's completely fine. I've been using her, and even here, like not maxing out her skills, she's fantastic. Your priority is going to be the skill 2. The reason why is what you're here for is the true damage going up 140%, and that damage taken is always nice for enemies. That's what you're here for, and you don't have to burst with her. So if you're only here for the skill 2, you can even go 4-10-4 if you want. But for me, I actually think she does some pretty decent damage. So I went with 7-10-7, but that's just a personal thing. Not everybody has the mats to do so, but there is a bit of flexibility there depending on what you want to do with your Takina. So just keep that in mind. Now, when we're talking about the cubes, there is a few things. So, like I mentioned, if you are bursting with her, remember, her gun changes. So you could maybe go Bastion, but if you're not, because she's just going to be using her sniper rifle, she is a slow girl, resilience will be your main priority. If you do have the new true damage cube and you got some levels on it, maybe you can use that as well. For me personally, I just feel like I'd rather just go with my highest level cube for now, at least until I can get the true damage cube up to level 10, just like I did with pierce damage. So that's just going to be on a little bit of a hiatus for now. So I'm just still going to recommend resilience as just like an overall pick, just because most people won't have a fully invested true damage cube, but I just want to mention that option. And when it came to testing, it's a little bit iffy because I did some electric testing to, you know, show off Ein a little bit, and then also do some Chisato and Laplace testing. A little bit interesting. I did, you know, with her bursting and then off burst. Let me yap about it, so let's get started. So to get started with the testing results, I ended up doing this in electric. I'm using Takina, Ein, Siren, Ada as just like another comparison of DPS, and then using Crown as the off burst. Takina is bursting here, and remember, this is electric, so first thing I want to know is that Takina is doing some decent damage for bursting as a B2 in basically neutral, so that's kind of crazy. I actually think that's really nice. That's a nice little bonus right there. My Ada is more invested than my Ein, admittedly, but still, for what she is providing, that's pretty nice that it's somewhat close. Now, if we were to swap Crown and Takina, now it's a little bit more interesting. So you can see that the numbers are bumped up, but here's the thing. The numbers are still kind of relative here. Obviously, Takina drops down hard because she's not getting her own damage out, but when you look at Ein and Ada, the numbers are still kind of relatively the same when we're talking about the gap that they have. So Crown isn't boosting so much. Like, there is a boost here, obviously, going from 2.9 to 3.36, and then Ada going from 3.31 to 3.7. There is a boost, but that gap is still kind of relative. You can see that right there. So you can see that Takina is providing some good buffs, but really that's only just for certain characters. And that's kind of what kills me here. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this, that she is just not for everybody. And if that investment is really worth it for so few characters. We need more true damage characters in this game that are actually viable to make someone like Takina more worth it. So it's a little in the gray area, honestly. And I feel like unless you're like a super diehard like raid person, I feel like it might not be that worth it. And then now comparing the collab characters together, this is where it's pretty damn nice, because we have Takina, Chisato, Siren, Laplace, and Crown. My Takina is doing more than my Laplace, and I'm pretty sure they have equally scuffed elemental lines. So kind of a shame to see Laplace like that, but I digress. That's fine. Chisato, though, doing almost 4.2 billion, doing 4.169 billion. That's really good. Takina almost halfway to Chisato. That's fantastic, honestly. For bursting, you know, like, that's still really nice considering that she's a B2. So I think that's phenomenal for being a little sub DPS. And like I said, I don't have the best lines for her. So it could even be better if you have a more like good set of lines for her, but can't complain. Now we were to swap Takina and Crown. Now, once again, there's a little bit of a bump here, but the numbers are still pretty relative, which I'm really happy about. Like, you can tell that Takina's buffs are actually helping out, considering the fact that Crown isn't making it so much of a gap in between when it comes to who's bursting for the team. which I actually think is really appreciative. And I'm more surprised, honestly. I was expecting a much bigger gap, but for what she does it good. The problem is that there's not a lot. And I feel like every time we do get a true damage buffer, we get that same kind of sentiment that it's just not enough. So I feel like it's a bit of a mixed bag, honestly, overall, because she's great, just not a lot of use cases. And if you don't care about solo raid, it's a hard sell, you know? But honestly, do let me know what your thoughts are on Takina. How are you enjoying solo raid? How is it going for you? Let me know. But that is going to be it from me. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.